Vitiligo is an autoimmune condition in which the immune system attacks the pigment-producing cells of the skin, leaving behind white patches. Although not dangerous in itself, vitiligo can be disfiguring, causing a great deal of distress to people suffering from it. There are treatments available for vitiligo. These include topical creams that suppress the immune attack on skin cells, and phototherapy, which uses UV light. However, these treatments are time and effort consuming, particularly if large areas of the skin are affected. Another problem is that they only work temporarily. In many patients, the disease returns when the treatment is stopped. Crucially, the disease tends to return in the same patches of skin where it first appeared, prompting a team of researchers to wonder whether this property may lead to an explanation as to how the disease occurs, and even a potential cure. To find out more, I, Isabel Cochran, spoke to Professor John Harris from the University of Massachusetts Medical School.
The fact that the white spots came back at the exact same location suggested that there was a memory in the skin, a disease memory. And based on some previous studies that had been done in looking at immune responses to fight viral infections, we know that once the virus is cleared, immune cells are left behind in the skin in case the virus ever comes back. They're called resident memory T cells. And so based on the fact that these cells form to help fight virus a second time, we thought that they might form in autoimmunity as well in a similar way, and that they could be the source of this return of white spots to that location. So we looked in the skin of patients with vitiligo, and we also looked in the skin of a mouse model that we developed to study vitiligo as well. And we found that these resident memory T cells were forming there within the white spots.
Does this mean that by getting rid of these memory cells, we might be onto a treatment then?
Yeah, that was the next step. So we thought that if we could remove those cells, not only would the skin get better, like conventional treatments, but it might stay better. That if the memory is gone, that the white spots wouldn't even come back. And so we tested this in the mice. We were looking for an Achilles heel of these cells. And we found that a protein called IL-15 was really required for their survival and maintenance in the skin. So we thought that if we cut off that survival signal, that the cells might go away. And we found that that was true. So when we blocked IL-15 signaling in the mice, the cells disappeared and the mouse skin got better. And we then found that even if we just treated the mice for a couple weeks, they continued to improve for months. So that was really the exciting finding, I think, that this treatment may be effective long-term for patients.
How confident can we be that what happens in the mouse immune system and what happens in the mouse skin cells mirrors what happens in the human immune system and the human skin cells? How good of a model is the mouse?
From the very beginning, when we started studying vitiligo, our strategy was always to pair our observations in mice with humans, so that every time we make an observation in the mice, we immediately jumped into humans. So it appears that humans, they follow the same rules as what happens in the mice. And previously, we've used our mouse model to predict response to other drugs as well. And those drugs are actually now in clinical trials. So the mouse model has a pretty good track record to date, and we're confident that it accurately reflects the human disease.
I noticed you said that these memory T cells may also have a role in, for example, combating viral infection. So might it not be risky or dangerous to block their survival by blocking this IL-15 protein?
Right, that's the concern. We were a little surprised to find, both in the mice and in the humans, that the vitiligo-specific resident memory T cells appear to rely more on IL-15 than the other T cells, than the ones that fight infection. And so when we treated the mice, we found that the vitiligo-causing resident memory T cells disappeared while the other T cells did not. And so we're hopeful that this not only will be an effective treatment, but also safe.
Could using memory T cells as targets have a role in treating other autoimmune diseases as well, potentially?
Yes, we think so. Vitiligo patients and their family members are actually at an increased risk for developing other specific autoimmune diseases. This is probably due to a shared genetic risk, that the genes that predispose to one are similar to the ones that predispose to another. And we also think that that suggests that they actually run on the same pathways, that they use the same fuel to operate. So our hope is that by studying vitiligo, not only will we help vitiligo patients, but we may be able to develop drugs that will work for these other diseases as well.
How soon do you think it is before we'll start to see these treatments being used in humans?
The good news is we're working with a group called the Immune Tolerance Network, who are interested in funding a clinical trial in humans, and we're hoping to start enrolling for this trial by next summer, 2019.